Hello guys, I would like to start this video off by thanking our new subscribers, one of which is Corey Cradaville. The other ones, I don't know if Dad just doesn't know how to work the YouTube, but I can't see your names on some of them. But we thank you guys sincerely. Me and Natalie both greatly appreciate it, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Missy, why don't you go ahead and kick off the video?
So, welcome to Natalie's Reptile World. This is the host, Natalie. And this is the co-host, Daddy.
So today, guys, we are introducing you to Charmeleon, our Nile Monitor. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody what you think of this guy?
So, I love his pattern, and he had like these really cool dots on him and the black.
So let me start by saying that Natalie and I have no problem defending good pets with a bad reputation. If you've seen our video on Savannah Monitors, me and Natalie absolutely love our Savannah Monitor. He is doing awesome, isn't he?
Yeah.
So as much as we would like to say the same for Charmeleon here, we just can't, and I'll explain why. Nile Monitors are certainly not a pet for everyone. There are a lot of things that we're going to go over in this video that I would hope make more informed purchasers of people that are going to buy these guys. However, the odds are if they're watching this video, it probably means they either already got one. So me and Natalie believe that there are just some animals that are just naturally more aggressive than others. There are breeds of dogs that are naturally more aggressive than others. There are birds that are naturally more aggressive. There's snakes that are naturally more aggressive than others. Nile Monitors, we believe, are in that category of just naturally being a little more aggressive than most monitor lizard species. Nile Monitors come with a pretty big bite first, ask questions later attitude, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Is he a little bitey?
Yeah, well, a little bit bitey.
A little bit bitey.
And he does sleep a lot, and he kind of bites when you hold him, and...
You haven't even held this guy yet, have you?
No, because he could bite me.
And when we get into the full size of the Nile Monitor, believe us, a bite from a full-grown Nile Monitor can do some serious damage. Is it going to kill you? No. However, we would like to make you aware of a story back in 2002 that got mainstream attention on it. Ronald Husk, who was eaten by his pet Nile Monitors. Now, there are a lot of circumstances that surrounded that case. For one, he wasn't eaten by one pet Nile Monitor. He had 7 full-grown Nile Monitors, 7 6-foot full-grown Nile Monitors living in his house. And by house, I mean his tiny apartment, and by living with, I mean they were free roaming his house.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't even have them in cages. They were just walking around in the guy's house.
Yeah.
But to give you some assurance, to this day, they're not 100% positive on if he died from natural causes first, and then the Nile Monitors with no food found some food. It could have also been that they thought for a point that he was bitten by one of his Nile Monitors, it got infected, and he ended up passing away from that, or they attacked him, which I highly doubt. But by the time the police arrived, most of the man was already eaten by his pet Nile Monitors. That is crazy, isn't it?
And we are never doing it.
No. So, do we think Nile Monitors are bloodthirsty man-eaters? Absolutely not.
No.
Do we think you should get 7 of them and keep them in horrible conditions?
No.
No. I really don't know what else to say to that story other than be responsible.
And you have to take care of them really good. You have to put heat, and these guys are really cool, and they kind of fall asleep in the hand.
Like he's doing right now.
Yeah.
Could you imagine this guy being a man-eater?
Yeah, and we're not.
No.
What?
He wouldn't be a man-eater.
No.
He's gonna be a good boy.
Yeah, no, we'd be good.
Body should. Whoa,
Geez, that was a close one.
he jumped, didn't he?
Yeah. He was like,
And- So we're not telling you guys all this because we think that Nile Monitors are bad animals. Nile Monitors, I would say, are my third favorite monitor lizard there is. Right behind, remember when we did the lace monitor? I love the lace monitors, and one other that we can't tell you yet. So we were really torn of which way to go with describing the Nile Monitor. In one sense, we want to tell you that they just make really bad pets. However, somebody could easily say to us, well then, why do you have one? I think Nile Monitors are great if you have the time, the room, and you are well educated in monitor lizards, large monitor lizards, and your husbandries are on point. So one of the saddest possible things I think about these guys is people will buy them, they get bit by them, and then they try to turn them into the local pet store, or even worse, like what's going on down in Florida where people are releasing them into the wild. And that's just not right to the animal, right?
Yeah, I know.
You need to take care of your animals, right?
Yeah. And you cannot treat them wrong.
No, definitely can't. And if you take a animal like this that was captive bred and you just let them go into the wild, they're probably not going to survive.
Yeah, because you can't keep these because they won't probably they will probably not survive in the wild.
Right. So one really deceiving thing about them is how tempting they can look at a reptile expo. I mean, people are selling them for 40 or 50 bucks. They see what I would consider is one of the coolest looking monitor lizards, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, what you will spend, that 40 or 60 bucks is not even a fraction of what you will spend in the enclosure, food, the lighting, everything you will need for them. Because he needs a lot of care, right?
Yeah, and he needs a lot of
Humidity.
Yeah.
You get it. But he's gonna need a really big enclosure, bigger than the one we have Spyro
Yeah,
in.
he'd probably be needing this bigger.
Not even close. Try the size of our couch.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah, because they can get big.
Right. And another thing is, just like a lot of other monitor lizards, they have a lifespan of up to 20 years, which is a very long time and a very huge investment that you will be keeping a very large lizard for up to 20 years possibly. So you really need to consider things like that. So these guys are the largest species of lizard in Africa, which that's saying a lot. They, on average, can get up to about 5 feet. However, they've been recorded of growing all the way up to 7 feet.
Yeah, that I probably need not one bigger than.
We're gonna have to get him a huge enclosure, right?
Yeah, when he gets like this big.
Well, they grow quick, so we gotta get started on it. Go ahead, go build it.
I can't even drive.
Now, to put that in perspective for you, that is 1.5 feet less than the average female American alligator. That is bigger than 2/3 of all monitor lizard species. And If you guys have seen the video, it came out about a year ago. There was a video of, it was a huge Asian water monitor that got into a convenience store and was like destroying the place, climbing around in it. That was a 6-foot lizard. So if you haven't seen that video and you're thinking about a Nile, I would suggest it.
But guys, guess what?
What?
They can fall asleep with one eye closed and one eye open.
He likes to keep one eye open, right?
Yeah.
That's so he can keep an eye on us. Make sure we're not gonna do any funny business.
And he's looking at me, he's like, hey.
He's flicking his tongue at you.
He's like, hey.
Now, there are ways of taming these guys down. We've been working on taming them, right?
Yeah.
What are some things we've been doing? Tongue?
Tongue feeding and
What's the thing we do in the tub with them?
So you have to let him, like you have to let it like this much feet and like 5 inches and then put him in the water and then he's like swimming like this and you put your hand in there and then he comes right to your hand.
If you guys look on YouTube, you will see plenty of people with tamed Nile monitors. We've watched a few, haven't we?
Yeah.
The only issue with that is most of those...
Hi, buddy. Don't look at me. You better not bite me.
Now, the only problem with most of those videos is the monitor lizards in those videos are either like already full grown or a couple years old.
Don't bite me or daddy.
Yeah, no biting daddy.
Yeah, not even me.
Yeah, not even Natalie.
Like,
But in those videos, they're almost full grown. Those videos don't show you the sheer amount of time and effort that those people have put into working with and handling their Nile monitor to get them to that point. One of the easiest ways of doing that and starting to build trust with your monitor lizard is tongue feeding them. And we're just now getting your Savannah monitor to eat very good off tongues, right?
Yeah, but...
That little baby is growing, ain't he?
But... Why cute? Don't look at me.
He almost kissed you.
Well, because his tongue is like...
He's got a big long tongue, doesn't he?
He's like...
Yeah.
Like his tongue.
The second way that we're going about trying to tame him down is a water exercise, where you basically fill up a tub or something like that that's just deep enough that they can't touch the bottom. You extend your hand out into the water to basically give them a place to rest and catch their breath. And that starts to build the trust that they can use you and your hand in that way. Look at him. He's getting rambunctious, ain't he?
He's like, who are you? I want to bite you.
No, you better not. Now, one of the purposes me and Natalie made starting this channel is that we wanted to show people that even kids can be a responsible pet owner to reptiles. Nile monitors are not for kids. This is definitely Daddy's pet, isn't he?
Yeah, because, well, when it gets a little bit older, when it gets a little bit not bitey, I can hold him. Then when it gets a little bit not bitey, then it's going to be both of my pets.
Yeah, exactly. Once we tame them down, right?
Yeah, because when he bites, it's your pet. And when he doesn't bite, it's all
Oh, he's only mine when he bites. Got it.
Because I don't want him to bite me.
Yeah, I don't want him to either.
Then I'll bleed a lot, right?
Right.
And then I'll have scars just like you.
Oh, thanks. Now, me and Natalie certainly aren't going to sit here and pretend that we are the Nile whisperers, that look how dog tame our Nile monitor is, that we have tamed the dragon,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He has bit me multiple times since we first got him.
Yeah.
Now, with the two taming examples that we gave you guys, he has become a lot better at this. However, he still has that bite instinct to him. Because, I mean, he's even drew blood on me a couple times, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You can still see some of the bite marks.
Like a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Nothing big. Now, when he's full grown, that little bite could be a lot more serious.
Yeah, then it will bleed like a lot because,
Ooh, yeah.
because then when it gets bigger, he'll have bigger teeth, and then when he gets his teeth in, it's
Bigger
gonna bleed.
teeth, bigger claws, bigger tail. It's gonna be full of weapons.
Yeah.
Now, if and when you get bit by your Nile Monitor, the main thing that you need to keep in mind is that you can't react in a negative way. You can't react in a sudden or jerking movement because you could definitely hurt these guys a lot more than he can hurt you, right?
Yeah.
And we don't want to hurt our little guy, right? Which trying to not react in a negative way is nearly impossible for a kid. What would you do if he bit you?
I would like scream and cry.
Another thing you can't do when you get bit is to immediately put them back in their enclosure. You can't do that because it reinforces the idea in their brain that says, okay, all I have to do is bite this thing and it does what I want. It puts me down. It puts me back in my enclosure. I don't want to be held. And you need to try to break that, and you kind of just have to roll with the bite. Don't try to pry them off. Don't try to use like alcohol or anything like that to get them to let go. You kind of just got to wait it out.
Yeah.
Now, me and Natalie are certainly putting in the time and work and the investment into making him more handleable. And it's a daily process, something that we do daily. Holding him, attempting to tongue feed him, the water training, is you need a lot of time to be able to do these things. It's certainly going to be a process, right?
Yeah.
Taming them?
Yeah.
Taming the dragon. A massive monitor lizard, you're going to need a massive enclosure. If your full-grown Nile is 5 feet, the enclosure needs to be 10 feet. If they are 6 feet, it needs to be 12 feet. Most people designate an entire room to their Nile Monitor. Are you jealous that this guy gets his own room?
No.
No, because you already got your own room, right?
Yeah.
Should we just let him live in your room with you?
No, I do not want him to bite me.
They're also going to need a large water area. I wouldn't say Nile Monitors they're pretty aquatic, but I wouldn't say they're as aquatic as the mangrove monitor. But he needs a water source that is at least big enough for your full-grown lizard to submerge his entire body in. That's like a lizard pool, right?
Yeah.
And go swimming with them.
Yeah.
You'd love that. Now, if you plan on socializing them, you are going to want an enclosure, and I mean, this is actually true of most lizards, and I would say a vast majority of snakes, is you're going to want a front opening enclosure, meaning that it's not your like traditional one that you lift the lid up and you're going in and scooping them, but something you're picking them up from the front. You're going to want to do this because it puts you more on their level rather than a big claw coming down and snatching them up out of their enclosure. And this is especially true of younger snakes when most of their predators are birds and things coming up from above and swooping them up. So they get more defensive when something's coming up from above them. And you're reaching out to them. You're not reaching above them, grabbing them. Now, like savannas that come from Africa, just like the Nile Monitor, he comes from Africa too. He comes from the same place that your savanna monitor comes from.
Yeah, well, he's bigger than my savanna monitor. Well,
He's gonna be bigger.
yeah.
But just like them, just like the savanna monitor, they like to burrow. So you're gonna need to provide a substrate that not only holds in humidity, but something that they can burrow in. You're going to want to include plenty of hides throughout, places for them to conceal themselves, places for them to burrow in, and if you have the right substrate, they'll create half the hides themselves. But where does our little guy like to hang out?
He likes to hide under his door.
In the dirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where we find him most of the time. Touch his back. There you go. He's shedding a little bit. Now, also like savannas is their temperatures are going to be pretty similar too. They need a basking spot of anywhere between 110 and 130 degrees. The daytime temperature should be anywhere between 88 and 95, with nighttime temperatures of between like 70 and 80. And they're also going to need UVB lighting. So by the time you build a full-size enclosure for this guy, I mean, you're gonna need a lot of lighting to keep that heat in and everything.
So guys, guess what? You guys will probably love him if you got him, but you can probably see him at like a couple reptile places, but we found him at the reptile place.
And finally, on to diet. So also like Savannah monitors, these guys are an endless pit. So you really need to keep an eye on their weight to see how much weight that they're gaining and that you're feeding them the right amounts. You don't want him getting too big that it's like unhealthy for him, right?
Yeah, then I really hope he doesn't get like big old, like the size of a house.
Eating issues with the Nile Monitor aren't very common, and if they are having issues with eating, that's usually a good sign of some kind of parasite. But in the wild, these guys eat a pretty big variety. They'll eat a lot of insects, eggs, small rodents. They've got a pretty vast variety in their diet. So as juveniles, you should be feeding them on a daily basis. Smaller insects, that's where we're trying to train them for tongue feeding, right?
Yeah, but if he doesn't like tongue eat, then he'll probably not.
He just chases them down, right?
Yeah.
He's a good hunter. So as adults, they should be eating a few times a week. They should be introduced to bigger food items like eggs, fish, frozen thawed rodents, occasionally, that kind of thing. So we definitely, when he gets full grown, we're gonna have to keep him away from Bella, right?
Yeah, because Bella will probably scare him and he'll probably bite Bella.
I think he would scare Bella.
Yeah, because Bella like this more and he'll probably be this.
He's gonna be way bigger than Bella.
Yeah.
So that does it for Charmeleon, our Nile Monitor. If you guys found this informative or you just enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe for next week's Reptile. I think we're also going to start like a little fun activity that we can do at the end of each month, where each month we'll pick a different subscriber, or maybe you guys can do something like send in a picture of your reptile, and Natalie can do like a hand-drawn picture that we'll send to you. We'll see. So, you want to close us out?
Yeah. But that's all for the wolf pack. Don't forget the wolf pack. Bye guys. Oh, love you so much. Bye guys.
Bye guys, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bye guys.